Room 981 on Smooth Breakfast with Valentine.
And Ayo, good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Victories this morning when we look at tennis, but we have Tega in the studio with us. Good morning, Tega.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Join the conversation by sending us messages on WhatsApp 0809 444 0981.
You can also send your tweets to at Smooth981FM. We already see some coming in. Hashtag is Locker Room 981. We're streaming live on YouTube as well. So please use the live chat option to send in your messages. And when Valentine mentioned it's a day of celebrating victories, I was literally rolling my eyes in one position and rolling my head along with my eyes.
Okay, let's do like the Punjabis. Let's start with this first story. Nigeria's D Tigers have booked a slot to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics after beating host China 83-76 to confirm their place as the best ranked teams in Africa yesterday at the FIBA Basketball World Cup. The Alex Nwora-led side lost the first quarter by 21 to 19 points, but bounced back in the final three quarters with 10 to 16, 20 to 25, and 22 to 26 points. Josh Okoje emerged Nigeria's top performer with 19 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks.
Well, those of you that were arguing with me about the Tigers, in case you did not know, they beat China for good measure.
I'm so glad.
And so Nigeria is going to be at the Olympics. They qualified. Automatic tickets. This one is not a Super Eagles where people will be pressing calculator and be checking your Android. It's not. There's no need for postulations and prophecy. Straightforward automatic ticket. They did the job that they needed to do. Congratulations to Tigers. It would be, it's amazing. I know most of them, all of them, foreign-based players. Yes, but can you imagine a Nigerian basketball league that is running, not the one that is off and on now, the one that is consistently running and producing talents, churning out talents, not just for the national team, but generally we have a league that works, that runs, that they're professional athletes that get paid their full amount of money and have full benefits, insurance, and all in it. Just imagine that kind of league and how those kind of players would dominate on the world scene. We don't have that. These guys have to struggle. It was community efforts that they used to send these guys there. Money wasn't released from the ministry. And these guys went out and got their ticket to to Tokyo Olympics. It wasn't any longer about pushing national pride. It was personal ambition. Like, we want to be at the Olympics, so we'll play to get there. So sometimes I think I feel I have mixed feelings. Sometimes I just want these guys not to do anything. You understand? Like when they say Nigeria, one lonely person will come out with one flag on bamboo stick. And then we'll know that sports has totally failed. Sometimes I want it to be that bad. Unfortunately, there are people, like I said, they are athletes with personal ambitions. This is their career beyond it. And so sometimes they just put in that extra ordinary effort, that extra human effort to make it to the world stage, and at the end of the day, Nigeria will still be represented, even if Nigeria did not do anything to make them get there. So I have those mixed feelings. On one hand, I'm very happy to see Nigeria there. I'm happy to celebrate. On the other hand, I'm just thinking, the more these people bring results, some people will just think that they are doing all right and sit on their hands and do nothing. I don't know the solution going forward, but it's sad.
Really sad. And this is the same thing that happened to the female basketballers.
Yes, and they went and they won.
Yes, very sad. But we keep cheering them on, even if they don't get, the kind of recognition they deserve. We keep on cheering them on until something good happens from the Ministry of Sports. Okay, let's now go on to one of the biggest stories of today, the US Open 2019. Let's start with the female folks. Serena Williams criticizes inexcusable performance in final defeat. I didn't say that. She said it herself. Serena Williams branded her performance in the US Open final inexcusable and said it was the worst match, in quotes, she played during the tournament. Williams was beaten 6-3, 7-5 by Canadian 19-year-old Bianca Andreescu, whose win marked her first Grand Slam title. Defeat means American Williams is still chasing a record equaling 24th major. Now, this is what she has to say. That's the 6-time champion at Flushing Meadows. She said, I believe I could have just been more Serena today. I honestly don't think Serena showed up. I have to kind of figure out how to get her to show up in Grand Slam finals. It's inexcusable for me to play at that level.
This is what you should have said after Wimbledon when Simona Halep beat you in less than an hour. And then you should have gone to see a sports psychologist. In fact, don't see him or her. Bring the person to the tennis court. You see how Medvedev brought that woman. Oh, Medvedev's sports psychologist is the best. She's the absolute best. I think when Vladimir Putin is looking for double agents, he should take Medvedev and his sports. There were no emotions. I mean, when Medvedev got to 2 sets all with Nadal, that's when she stood up to celebrate. But even Medvedev, his celebration was minimal. That guy is cold. Those are the kind of people you need. People that have focus, that it doesn't matter what is going on, whether they're winning or losing. Poker face. And that's what I think it was arrogant of her team, of Serena's team, to not have her see a specialist for this issue alone. I think it's arrogant because there is, again, sports has become a lot more mental than it is with the talent or with the physical skill. She comes into games the same way, and she came into this game exactly the same. She chose to serve first. She gets to the line, and you could tell that she was willing herself to win by imagining to herself that I'm 100%, and she wasn't. And so she gets there. I have never seen a Serena Williams service game that she has double faulted back to back to back. There's no Williams that has done that in her life. Not Serena Williams, not Venus Williams, not even the Williams that claps in the crowd. There's no Williams that serves her badly. But Serena did it that day, and I'm glad she's seeing. You know, it happens in the first final, happens in the second final. For me at that time, if I were Patrick Mouratoglou, the first thing I would have been doing was thinking sports psychologist, especially for the finals. They didn't do that. Simona Halep, less than an hour, they didn't do that. So now she thinks her performance is inexcusable. The one time she actually fought back. Because the second set should have been over with 6-1. She fought back to make it 7-5. And I think when she got to 5-all, she got a little comfortable again. And then she started making those errors. It is those things that you need a psychologist to tell you what to do. So for some people like Novak Djokovic, it's to stretch out his body and play what he knows. But some people like Medvedev is to keep his focus and keep his tennis as clean as possible and his rallies as short as possible. For Serena Williams, it is just to be yourself. You need to tell yourself that, yes, I've won 23 Grand Slams. I don't need to win again in my life. I don't even need to win another match to be a legend. I am already a legend. She needs to get that monkey off her back. I don't know what the stress is. There is a man that has won 23 slams. Some of it were amateur, some of it were professional. Nobody's putting Roger under any pressure to win 23 Grand Slams.
She's not particular record.
She's trying to break the record. I mean,
so that's what I'm saying. 24. So that 24 McGregor, not all of them are professional. Some of them are amateur titles. I don't know what the struggle is. I mean, people will write script, and I can't tell you not to read because there's no way you will not read. But she needs to get that monkey over. I don't need to prove anything to anybody.
Well, I think you did prove it on Friday because Solomon reminds you here. He sent in this message from Akoka. He said, last Friday, when Tega described Serena's opponent and her achievements, I knew Serena would be beaten. And when Brutalistics admonished Tega, oh, by the way, Brutalistics just joined us in the studio. Welcome. He said when he admonished Tega that Tega should wait until after the match to reel out Bianca's successes, I knew we would have this discussion again.
No,
okay, actually, on Friday, I actually reeled out Bianca Andreescu's titles, not Serena. I didn't win Yeah.
I-
So I don't know what show you're listening to.
Tega
Bye.
warned us that she was going to struggle, and that's pretty much what happened. And
Tega
she's
spent a whole 2 minutes to describe that, but he goes on. He says, however, I'm not a member of the school of thought, sorry, Ayo, that Serena should retire. She should learn from Tiger Woods and bounce back. She will retire as a champion. She's the only opponent she has. If she can beat herself mentally, she will beat Bianca at their next meet.
Oh God, that's what I said here. Please, I don't know which show you listen to, or maybe you turned your radio upside down. Don't upset me this morning. I'm hungry.
Solomon, I'm with you on that one. And I don't know. I mean, this is the best. This is how you say definite. Okay, I'm with you.
I told
Tega.
you so.
I'm with you, Tega.
Please.
Why is Mr. putting his tongue out? I want us to sanction him.
And please, Serena should never imitate Tiger Woods. Never. I think it's very easy for us to remember the one Tiger Woods win and forget all the other Tiger Woods losses. Just don't do that. Don't compare.
Okay.
If I came to your office and I compared you to your other staff, you may not like it.
Next story.
Next story.
All right, so Rafael Nadal, who wants me to talk about it? Rafael Nadal says it was impossible to hold in his emotions after winning the US Open title in an unforgettable 5-set battle with Daniil Medvedev. Different strokes, eh? Nadal, who's 33 years old, beats Russian Medvedev 7-5, 6-3, 5-7, 4-6, 6-4 in 4 hours, 50 minutes in New York to win his 19th Grand Slam. The Spanish second seed was tearful as a video of his major wins was played on the big screens on the Arthur Ashe Stadium. He said, "This trophy means everything to me today. Personal satisfaction of the way that I resisted all these tough moments is very high."
Kai, it's not your fault. It's Medvedev. But and let me put it this way. This was the showing of why Rafa Nadal is as competitive as he is. However, I would blame Medvedev just a little bit, especially in the fifth set. But amazing tennis. Nadal leading by 2-0. Me sitting down in my house thinking, okay, at least I will sleep early today. You know, usually I sleep at 2 a.m. But because Nadal was already leading, I was like, okay, I'll sleep past 12. You'll be done. You know, maybe third set to be like 6-3 or 6-2. Then we'll close. That's how this Medvedev boy from Russia, he just brought some cold assassin emotions to the game. It wasn't that he recognized that he cannot continue battling Rafa Nadal from the baseline. It did not make any sense. His serves were big, his forehands were big, but because Rafa Nadal is kind of guy that will make you play that extra shot, he recognized that he had to shorten his rally. That is how this Medvedev guy, 6'6", you know that guy that stretches in Fantastic Four?
Long.
That's Medvedev for you. 6'6". This guy was sprinting across the court. Sometimes I thought his legs were going to tangle and he'll fall over. He's that clumsy looking when he's sprinting. But this guy, he was bringing Rafa to the net and beating him at the net. He was varying his shots and he was clinical. And it was the laser focus he had. Like he was down a break in the third set, in that set that we thought was deciding. He broke back and then went on to win the set by 7-5. No celebration. People in the crowd were shouting. He did not clap. Then he played the fourth set. And then he beat Nadal in the fourth set. And his biggest celebration was just to fold his fist and walk away. He did not shout. He did not clap. I was like, Vladimir Putin will be proud of you. Proud. But in the fifth set, again, I think like Serena, he got comfortable because he was 40 love up in the 2-2 in the fifth game. And then he tried a drop shot. And then he missed. And then he missed the next one. And then Nadal fought from then on and broke him the first time and then broke him the second time. He was able to fight back and get back one break. But against Rafa Nadal, one break is too much to give. And so he couldn't complete the journey all the way. But it was amazing tennis. And I think the reason why Nadal cried was not necessarily because of the videos they were showing. It was the tension that he was releasing from his body because of this match. Because Medvedev, the momentum had swung and Medvedev looked like he was going to win. Congratulations to Medvedev. He walks away with $1.9 million. I want to
Serena going with
1.9.
Oh,
I have to.
It's
equal. They don't play that like that
anymore.
But I would like to lose a match and win $1.9 million. But what it is it wasn't for him. Medvedev, he was thinking that because of the fantastic summer he had in America, in North America, he was going to be able to win this and then conclude the year on a high note. So he may congratulate himself for the effort, but me knowing the Medvedev I know that can push himself to limits, even with his injuries and all, he was still playing in that way. He would be disappointed, but he should congratulate himself. He was the one man that came closest to breaking this Rafa Nadal, Djokovic, sometimes Roger Federer winning a Grand Slam. He came closest, one game away.
He put the fear of God in Nadal, honestly,
Aye.
because there are not many people who can play Rafa Nadal with the kind of sustain. That guy grinds your spirit. He pounds it. He cooks it.
Nadal had to change
On
tactics
court.
several times. And again, this is why I say things about questions from umpires, because Nadal should have gotten point penalties by the third or fourth set. Sometimes the clock will completely run down.
Yeah.
And the umpire will do as if he cannot say anything.
Mhm.
It was I don't like those kind of double standards. He eventually did give him a serve penalty, but that was on the fourth call, and that should have been a
Was it me?
point penalty.
There were a couple of times that I could have sworn that I saw Nadal look at his.
No, Carlos Moya was coaching him.
Yeah.
Remember when he started serving and volleying?
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Carlos Moya that told him to become a little more aggressive. Yeah. So he gets his on-court coaching. He gets all the time. They don't. The officiating is not the same for everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
It's pathetic, but it's not.
Let's let that sink in. We'll come back for more inside of the locker room here on Smooth 98.1.
Oh yeah, he gets on-court coaching. Nobody they don't call him out on it. They don't call him out on it.
Who knows? I have been feeling
I knew that school. That's why I did not expect
I
you.
did school one. I did
I didn't expect it today.
and I still managed to just like I'm feeling proud. So I must wear my jacket.
I didn't expect it today. I said school was
Honestly,
good.
I didn't think that. Because when I just hit me, I saw the traffic.
Traffic was horrible. Traffic was horrible as at 5:30 a.m. Said.
There's a loan for everyone.
We don't want loan. We want dash.
Grants. We'll take grants.
And so,
No story.
those people kept me up till 2 a.m. I'm not happy at all. I'm not happy.
I respected myself and went to bed and sleep.
So past 12, I was just like, okay, one more game, he'll win. After he won the first set, I said, okay, congratulations, you've taken one set. We're going to go to bed now. Efian.
My son woke up twice. Came to the living room where I was watching this thing. And once he's like that, he wants to like stay
With you and watch. So you have to go to
So I said, guy, no, we have to go. He first came out, he's like, I want to drink water. His eye was on the TV. Let's go and drink water. He drank, took him back. He came back again. This one, he didn't even talk. He just, I was lying down on the floor. He just came, lay down on my hand. And I was just like, I said, nah, we can't do this. We can't do this.
Oh, go to bed. No.
We can't do this one.
Me that were applauding in the middle of the night. Oh yeah, they were coaching him very well. They always coach him. Which is why sometimes, as bad as Nick Kyrgios is, I want a Nick Kyrgios on court when that kind of thing is happening. The umpire would have changed. Match commissioner would settle our quarrel. Let me tell you how bad it was. Twice Medvedev served an ace. The umpire cancelled it and said Nadal wasn't ready. Are you not supposed to receive at the server's pace?
Yes.
I like Nick Kyrgios. We fight there. It's Donald Trump that will settle the quarrel. I will not move. But they give him a lot of leeway because he doesn't talk much. Even if he fought with the umpire yesterday, but he doesn't talk much.
He's a member of the Players Council.
I think they give him because if
He gets away.
Because Djokovic sometimes they call him.
He got away with far too much.
Because sometimes they call out Djokovic, they never. I don't know. They don't call out Nadal.
It's nonsense.
And you can't say they should call out Federer because
It's too
Federer.
late for me to come on. I want to become an umpire. Let me look for his problem.
All right, we're back.
And to call it
Talk to me now. Come down from this chair.
Look at all our comments.
they're like 25. It's just 5, Abby.
Where's that? Come on.
Charlie Cox.
Doesn't seem like
We'll do Charles Leclerc first.
So your
Wow.
mics are up. You're tuned to and listening to Smooth 98.1 here. We're discussing sports inside of the locker room. Thank you for joining us. Send that message through WhatsApp to 0809 444 0981. We have stories to share and we have messages to read.
Yes, let's go to our story first of all. Let's go to Formula One. Charles Leclerc, Italian GP yellow card explained by F1 race director. So FIA race director Michael Massey has explained how Charles Leclerc was issued with F1's equivalent of the yellow card and not a penalty in his gripping battle with Lewis Hamilton in the Italian Grand Prix. Massey said, "The rules remain with regards to a car's width of room. It's quite obvious here that Charles has squeezed Lewis, and consistent with what happened last weekend in Spa with Pierre Gasly. As a result, it was the bad sportsmanship flag or the black and white flag that was displayed to car 16 for the move and the squeeze in the braking area." Please, Tega.
Okay, let me dismantle this FIA politics because it is clear politics. Okay, so again, like I said, Ferrari down the streets, they were completely blitzing the Mercedes, but somehow when you have this man called Lewis and he puts his leg down on that throttle, it's something different. And he caught up. Charles Leclerc makes a mistake. Lewis Hamilton catches up with him and almost overtakes him. And then Charles Leclerc stretches out his elbows basically and pushes him off the track, like gives him no room to maneuver and pushes him off the track. Now, normally, if he was Albon, because Albon was also given a penalty for that kind of thing, of Red Bull, they would give maybe a few seconds penalty. Some will say drive-through penalty, some will say a 5-second penalty, but there'd be a penalty. These people brought out yellow and black and white flag and say warning. Charles Leclerc, okay, so that was a warning. We are okay, let's forgive you that maybe because people argue too much that they should allow drivers race, because that's what they send people, they don't let drivers race enough and want to watch cars overtake, so let drivers race. So let's bring out this black and white flag. Okay, we agree that that was a warning. Then the second time Charles Leclerc makes another mistake, he now goes over the curb and nothing happens. And the same FIA did not give Charles Leclerc a penalty because they claim he didn't gain position. And here's what was tricky. Lewis Hamilton was already overtaking him. So he went around the curb to gain back his position. So even if he was ahead before he went on the curve, there was no guarantee he wasn't going to be overtaken. The reason why he went around was because he was going to be overtaken. So you should have given the place back. FIA didn't do anything. So if you have what, yeah, I mean, it's
you can't give up a place that the guy never had.
Yes, but that's like saying you broke into somebody's house, but because you did not cut away the property, we cannot punish you. You've broken in. So it is the same. And so Alex Albon does exactly the same thing. He couldn't make the curb immediately. He overtakes. Do you know what they did to Alex Albon? No. They gave him a 5-second penalty. The same race. He's Red Bull. He's not Ferrari. You have, again, it's politicking. Yeah. You have to stick by these rules. You can't manufacture and say, why is he explaining this rule now? Why didn't they explain it in Spa last week? Or why didn't they explain it all of the rest of the season? There's something about, I will say this. Don't get me wrong. Charles Leclerc pushed to the limits. Charles Leclerc drove very well. Charles Leclerc, if you ask me, my driver of the day, I'd give it to him. But those particular offenses, the reason why we are talking is not because it was Lewis Hamilton, it's because the FIA stewards keep coming up with they keep shifting the goalposts, and that doesn't make it fair. All in all, Monza was a great game. I think when Lewis Hamilton made his mistake and came third, and then they let Valtteri Bottas to start chasing Charles Leclerc, I was just like, nah, Charles Leclerc has won it. Because, I mean, Valtteri Bottas is like a grandma in a minivan. He's not really going to put anybody under any pressure. So, I'm sorry. I don't care what it is. Charles Leclerc won it. I think Ferrari will be very upset that they did not find this form earlier in the season. It would have been a completely different competition. But they have won in the two races that they expected to be stronger, which is Monza and Spa. Unfortunately, Vettel did not help them with points because he misbehaved again. But what it is that they've won those races. So Mercedes is definitely winning the Constructors' War. But between Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc now, it's a battle. The gauntlet has been thrown down. The next time Lewis sees Charles Leclerc, his elbows out. So I just when this kind of thing happens, I can't wait to see how that battle turns out.
It's pretty interesting. Cruz sends in this one on WhatsApp. Says Tagabiko, Vettel and Stroll get penalties for their dangerous driving. Did they?
Yeah, they
Yes,
did.
they did.
They did.
Is
Best
it-
Vettel got 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
Stroll got a drive through because his penalty was caused by somebody else's. Yeah, they all got penalties.
And more
yeah.
importantly, in Stroll's case, there was no impact with the oncoming driver, whereas Vettel's was quite careless and dangerous.
No, Stroll's one was also dangerous. I think he should have waited too. But I forgive him because it came immediately as a
after.
consequence of Vettel's error. I think that's what they did.
All right,
Yeah, that was fair.
saying to you on the Tennis US Open that you're on point in local parlance, correct, babe. You did justice to the matter. Your analysis was spot on. You did what is called people analytics in human resources. Then he said, devoid of sentiment, to be an upset for Serena to win, not as reported, Sha.
And Emeka Onelum says, good morning. I so fell in love with Bianca. Not only did she defeat Serena Williams, she also defeated the crowd who were majorly cheering for Serena. Of course, they said they sounded like a Coliseum. And just as Serena took the world by storm at age 19, we have a new champion in our hands in Bianca.
No,
Like,
Serena took the
should
world at
just-
storm at 17,
I was
not
going to say,
19.
please, yeah, get your facts right, please.
Okay, she I think Serena should consult the oracle to find out why she can't get her elusive 24th title.
No, it's two different things. One took at 17, one took at 19.
All right,
All
okay,
right.
let's go on to our next story.
Northern Ireland versus Germany. Now, Ilkay Gundogan has been ruled out of the Northern Ireland's European qualifier against Germany on Monday due to illness. Ilkay Gundogan has been diagnosed with a cold and will not be available on Monday. That's today. The midfielder had left the hotel room or the team hotel in Belfast to return home, according to reports on Twitter.
So they go into that game against Ireland on the backdrop of having been soundly, roundly, and wholeheartedly overwhelmed, outclassed, and bruised by a resurgent Netherlands side. I mean, that game, you remember the day before, we're talking about how the coach was saying that the match is not important. Is that how he used to do? Yeah.
I remember that one.
They were outclassed. I mean, the quality of the Dutch team's performance in that game. It looked as if the Germans were a bunch of old ancient pensioners. It was ridiculous in terms of the way these guys were outclassed. And this is against a Netherlands team that had a lot of dodgy decisions, refereeing decisions coming their way. And it's a lesson to Nigerian teams and Nigeria that even when you get official calls not going your way, don't let that be an excuse. Play the game. If your football is good, it will speak for you. And that's the moral of that performance. Leave every other person that is going against you and do what you need to do, and you will get the results. And that was it. Outclassed, outthought, outfought, outpointed.
Out everything.
Seismic shift in footballing circles for the Germans to have gone down the way they did. I think it's time for Jogi Löw to go. That's my opinion, because he's not getting the results.
Yeah, that's the only out I support. Every other out is not an out. That's the biggest out. Out, Joachim Löw.
Okay, all right, let's quickly take this one. I'll take some comments. So,
George from Aja sent in this one. It says, congrats to the Tigers, Nadal, Leclerc, and Bianca. It was a fun weekend. Serena or no Serena?
you people. Anyways, Lukman says a very good performance from Nadal, winning this year's US Open. Tega, Nadal is one Grand Slam behind Roger. Now, also for Ferrari, Charles Leclerc winning the Italian Grand Prix. Kudos to him. Vettel should just go and retire.
And Pius says, this is a heartfelt appreciation to the Lady Tiger for her very beautiful knowledge and knowledgeable analysis on sports. Didn't know anything about tennis until Tiger happened to Smooth FM. You guys are amazing, and Tiger, you're a legend, and keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Pius. MI says, Serena's lost. Chai.
Vamos, Nadal.
Vamos, Nadal. We bend the knee. Well done, MI.
Yeah. Let's go to our YouTube fam to see what they're saying, because it's
hey YouTube.
Hi, so I was up till 2:30 a.m. and I do not feel one bit groggy at work. Please, where can I get a hashtag Team Rafa jersey this morning? I cannot hide my joy. That's from Ofyong Ayo.
Thank you very much, Ofyong. And on Twitter, we touch on this message from Lukman. He said, I'm patiently waiting for you inside locker room this morning. He's talking to you, Taga.
Yeah.
I hope your boyfriend is away. He's here.
He's here.
Who is that one?
Brutalistics.
Who is that one that is waiting?
And he has this meme that he posted up
It
on.
was so funny.
Yeah, it's
You
very.
guys should check out the hashtag.
But
Not
Rafael
from
Nadal.
981.
So objects in the mirror are closer than they appear.
Mhm.
Dadisha Boy says, you sound so elated this morning. My ultimate supremo, Tega, the great radio sports analyst. Joy is radiating and I feel I'm here. Hail Una, Val and Ayo. Thank you very much.
We hail you
And
too.
Brutalistics, Unado. And then Yemi says, simply, Serena bottles it, but she was
Yeah,
struggling.
she was struggling. Then Don Pa says, I really do not know what Tega is talking about. She should let Leclerc celebrate his victory in peace.
You'll be alright.
He suffered same fate against Mad Max this season too, and now he's gained from same rule. We should let him be.
I remember when he suffered that problem. I actually did talk about
Yeah,
it.
you
So
did talk about it.
now that it is zone, he celebrates anyway. These things always find their way to come around.
Yes,
They do. They do.
What goes around comes around. Special thanks to you, Brutalistics, for stepping into the studio right on time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much to Tega Supreme. Ladies in Sports International, check out that update on Twitter at LIS International. Next, you get to talk to us, Lagos, on Lagos Talks 981.
I love music. I'm passionate about
It's sweet, Nabi.